Welcome back to our channel English Made Easy. In today's session, we shall discuss about direct and indirect speech. We shall discuss in detail how to convert a sentence from direct to indirect speech of all kinds of sentences, like we have the interrogative sentence, declarative sentence, imperative sentence and exclamatory sentence. We shall discuss in detail the conversion of all these types of sentences from direct to indirect speech in detail with example. Are you all ready?
Hello. In today's session, we shall learn about direct and indirect speech. Indirect speech is also called as reported speech. We shall discuss about each one in detail with examples and conversion of sentences from direct speech to indirect speech. We will learn conversion of all types of sentences. We know we have 4 types of sentences: declarative sentence, interrogative sentence, imperative sentence and exclamatory sentence. Now in this session we shall learn about the conversion of sentences, all types of sentences from direct speech to indirect speech. Now coming to this, what is direct speech? A sentence is said to be in direct speech when the exact words of the speaker are quoted in inverted commas. So what a speaker speaks, his words are quoted. See the example here. He said, "I am busy now." What the words he said, "I am busy now," are quoted in inverted commas. Now let's see what is indirect speech. A sentence is said to be in indirect speech when we report somebody's words in our words. So when somebody says something to us, when we say it or report it to somebody, another third person, then that sentence is said to be in the indirect speech. So let's see the same example of the direct speech one. He said that he was busy then. So in the first sentence of direct speech, when we convert it, it becomes he said that he was busy then. Now direct speech sentence has 2 parts. One is the reporting verb, another one is the reported speech. What is the verb we know? He said, "I am busy now." Said is the reporting verb here. Said is and it is a past form of the basic verb say. So here said is the reporting verb and "I am busy now" is the reported speech. Let's go to one more example here. The teacher said, "You can go now." This sentence is in direct speech form. The second one, when you change it into indirect speech form, it is like this. The teacher said that we could go then. See, notice all the differences here when you change a sentence from direct speech to indirect speech. The first basic rule when we change a sentence from direct to indirect speech is we should remove or omit. We should remove the inverted commas. There should not be inverted commas in indirect speech. Then the teacher after said, that is a reporting verb, the comma is not there and we have used the relative pronoun that. That is also called either it is called as relative pronoun or it is called as a conjunction. Okay, and there is a change in the pronoun. I has become he and you have become we here in the above examples here. Similarly, according to the person, the pronoun changes from I to he or we to they, or I to he or I to she, depending on the sentence, depending on the person used in the direct speech, it changes in the indirect speech. That should be observed. Now let's see the changes observed briefly here. Change in pronoun, as I already told you, I becomes he or she depending on the sentence, and we becomes they. Sometimes even you becomes we, depending on the sentence there. Use of a relative pronoun that we have used is the relative pronoun here. In declarative or assertive sentences, we use the relative pronoun that. But later on when we learn about interrogative sentences, we use different words we will use, whether such kinds of words we will use. But as of now here, we have used the relative pronoun that. Change in tenses. We have observed the change in sentence here, tense here, no? I am has become he was, am has become was. And change in time. See, now has become then. So these are the changes observed in a when you change a sentence from direct speech to indirect speech. Now let us discuss in detail all the rules when you change a sentence from direct to indirect speech. And today in this session we will discuss only about declarative and declarative or assertive sentences. In later sessions we will discuss about interrogative, imperative and exclamatory sentences. But in this session today we will learn about how to change sentences from direct to indirect speech, the rules which should be observed. Direct to indirect speech. Already we have learned that we will remove the commas and change in the pronoun and change in tense. Tenses, we have learned different types of tenses in the previous sessions. Those tenses form the basis for all these things now. We should know the structures of tenses. Then only you can learn, then only you know how to change these sentences. Change in pronoun we have seen already. Change in tense. Depending on which tense the sentence in direct speech is, accordingly we have to change the sentence into indirect speech. Okay. Now see, suppose the verb in the direct speech is in simple present tense. Then it will change to simple past tense in indirect speech. Have you observed this? Example here. She said, I work in a hospital. Work is the simple present tense form of the verb, and that will be changed. Let's see how it will change. She said that she worked in a hospital. So the verb work in direct speech has changed to worked in the indirect speech sentence. This should be observed properly. And I has changed to she. So now we will learn in detail about the change in tenses forms. Tense forms we will change. One more example. They said, we play football. They said that they played football. So play, simple present form has changed to played, simple past form. Now, one next example, like if suppose the verb in the direct speech is in present continuous form, it will change to past continuous form in the indirect speech. Examples. He said, I am baking a cake. Am baking is a present continuous form. Let's see how it will change. He said that he was baking a cake. So am has changed to was. She said they are enjoying music. He said that they were enjoying music. Are has become were. Are is a present form and were is the past form. So this is how a tense will change when you change a sentence from direct to indirect speech. Now suppose, next one. Suppose a verb is in present perfect form in the direct speech. How it will change? It will change to past perfect form. She said, I have completed my work. This is the verb is in the present perfect form. Have completed is the present perfect form structure. Now let us see how it is changed to past perfect form. She said that she had completed her work. So this is the change you have observed. The tense change when you change a sentence from direct to indirect speech. Some more examples. Now, suppose the verb in the direct speech is in present perfect continuous form. It will change to past perfect continuous form in the indirect speech. Examples here. She said, I have been working in a factory for 2 years. Have been working is a present perfect form. Now, let's see how it will change in the indirect speech. She said that she had been working in a factory for 2 years. So, had been working is the past perfect continuous form. Now, next one. Suppose we have seen that if the verb is in simple present, it will change to simple past. But now, suppose if the verb in the direct speech is in simple past tense, as a rule, it will change to past perfect. In English, there are certain rules which should be followed without any explanation, without any cause and reasons. Because English is a language, it's not science. You don't have reasons and causes for all these things. There are certain rules which should be followed as they have been given. So, here also, simple past as a rule will change to past perfect form in the indirect speech. Now, let's see some examples here. She said, I bought a new car. Bought is a simple past form which will change. See how. She said that she had bought a new car. So simple past form has changed to past perfect form. Let's see some more example. He said, I arrived before. He said that he had arrived before. Now next one is, suppose the direct speech verb is in past continuous form. Then the indirect speech verb will change to past perfect continuous form. Like he said, I was writing a poem. Now the indirect speech form is, he said that he had been writing a poem. Now next one, this should be observed very carefully. If the verb in the direct speech form is in past perfect tense, it remains the same in indirect speech also. As this is a basic rule. This is as a rule, the verb, if the verb is in past perfect form, in the direct speech sentence, it remains the same in the indirect speech sentence also. Example here, he said, I had already left. He said that he had already left. So this is about the tenses change when you change a sentence from direct to indirect speech. This is very, very, very important because you will get it in many of the exams. Next, till now we have seen the change of the verbs. Now we have some modal verbs. In English we have modal verbs or auxiliary verbs. We will see how these verbs will change when you change a sentence from direct to indirect speech. Suppose can is there in the direct speech sentence. It will change to could. Example here, Mary said, I can walk 5 kilometers a day. Let's see how it will change in the indirect speech. Mary said that she could walk 5 kilometers a day. So can will change to could. May will change to might. My mother said, I may meet my sister. My mother said that she might meet her sister. Meet her sister. Observe here, my will become her sister. So may will change to might. Next modal verb, must. Let's see how this will change. The teacher said, you must finish the work in an hour. Must will change to had to. The teacher said that they had to finish the work in an hour. So this is a change you should observe. Shall will change to should. Shall in the direct speech form will change to should in the indirect speech. He said, we shall die if nuclear energy is not used properly. He said that we should die if nuclear energy is not used properly. Now will change to would. Let's see the example here. Joe said, I will fix the plug. Joe said that he would fix the plug. So these are the changes of the modal verbs. Can will change to could. May will change to might. Must will change to had to. Shall will change to should. And will change to would. Now there are some modal verbs which do not change. They are could, might, must, need, ought, should and would. These modal verbs remain the same in direct as well as in indirect speech. This should be observed and noticed properly and learned and memorized properly. Next one. Suppose till now we have observed that if the reporting verb is in the past tense only, all the previous changes will be implemented, should be implemented, will come into action. Like suppose he said, if said is only there, that the reporting verb is said only, all the previous changes which you have to do. Suppose if the reporting verb is in present tense or future tense, you observe this, if the reporting verb is in present tense means say, or future tense will say, then the tense in the indirect speech will not change. The tense will not change. Observe this. The reporting verb is in the present tense or future tense. The tense in the indirect speech will not change. Previously, we have seen that if the reporting verb is in the past tense, the reporting verb is in the past tense only, we have seen a number of changes in the tenses like simple present to simple past and accordingly. Now here, see the reporting verb. He says to me, you are wise. Says is the present tense. So the tense only will not change. He says to me that I am wise. Okay? That is the tense only will not change. The pronoun will change, but tense only will not change. Now Ram will say to me, I am true. Now this is the future tense. Ram will say to me that he is true. So this thing should be observed and noticed properly. The reporting verb is in the present tense or future tense. The tenses in the indirect speech will not change. Only tenses will not change, but the pronoun will change. Now, one more example where you don't have a change in tense. There is no change in the tense in reported speech or indirect speech when you talk about historical truths, facts, and universal truths. You know, historical truths, facts, and universal truths, they are same always. Whether you say it yesterday or today or tomorrow, they will remain the same. So, the tenses will not change in such cases in indirect speech. Let's see some example here. The teacher said, Earth revolves round itself. The teacher said that the earth revolves round itself. So, the revolves will change the same, remain the same. He said to me, Mercury is the nearest planet to the earth. He said that Mercury is the nearest planet to the earth. So, here the tenses will not change. Okay, if the sentences are either historical truths or facts or universal truths, the tense in the indirect speech also will remain the same because they are facts and truths. They will never ever change. They remain same in all types of tenses, whether in the past or present or in the future. This should be noticed and observed properly. Next one. Changes in place and time when a sentence changes from direct to indirect speech. Now, till now we have seen the changes in the pronouns and tenses in detail we have seen, like simple present to simple past, present continuous to past continuous, and so on and so forth we have seen. Now, changes in time and place. Suppose thus is there in the direct speech. It will change to so in indirect speech. Hence in direct speech will change to thence in indirect speech. Now will change to then. Here will change to there. Today will change to that day in the indirect speech sentence. Tomorrow will change to the next day or the following day in the indirect speech. This will change to that. Ago will change to before. These will change to those. Suppose you have a sentence in with a word these in direct speech, it will change to those in the indirect speech sentence. And hither will change to thither. And come will change to go. We should notice all these should be observed properly, how they should be changed. So, now the above mentioned changes till now what we have learnt are to be implemented for declarative or assertive sentences. Declarative or assertive sentences means statements. But when you give a statement, that is called a declarative sentence. So till now what we have discussed is about declarative sentences. We have seen that there is a change in the pronoun. We have seen that there is a usage of a relative pronoun or any conjunction, relative pronoun that we have seen, and there is a change in tenses. In detail we have seen present tense to simple present to simple past, present continuous to past continuous, and so on. And there is also change in the time and place when you change a sentence from direct to indirect speech as given here, thus to so and so forth. So these all should be memorized properly and learnt properly, how sentences will be changed from direct to indirect speech. And in this session we have learnt only about declarative or assertive sentences. These should be learnt and memorized properly and should be used properly when you do in your exam or whatever it is, or when you speak also. When you do in your exam, you should do them properly. Now, in the next session, we will discuss about interrogative and imperative sentences and exclamatory sentences. So, I hope all of you have understood this video and this session properly and have understood all the changes which should be incorporated when you change a sentence from direct to indirect speech. Hope you have enjoyed the video, understood the video. Happy learning.